It was my first time in Amsterdam towards the end of spring, and so I had an aesthetic itinerary that's packed with cafes, bakeries, galleries, tulip-viewing, and wine bars. Early in the morning, we started the day off at Scandinavian Embassy, a cafe serving specialty coffee and freshly baked bread. Their cinnamon bun was undeniably my favorite. My first museum visit was Rijksmuseum, housing 800 years of Dutch history and paintings by renowned Dutch artists such as Rembrandt, Vermeer, and Van Gogh. I recommend you book tickets for all museums you plan to visit in advance, and it'll really help make things a lot quicker and easier for you. What I looked forward to seeing the most was the museum's research library, the largest and oldest art history library in the Netherlands. This museum was absolutely mesmerizing and a place I could spend hours at. For lunch, I had brunch at OFICINA, a unique dining spot serving all-day breakfasts, pastries, and matcha. Everything I ordered was so good, especially that toasty buckwheat and rhubarb crepe. Arriving in Keukenhof, if only the weather was sunnier than this. The tulips were everything I imagined. There were so many varieties, neatly and beautifully arranged into different zones. Another place I could probably spend a whole day at and wouldn't be done fully exploring it. For those with a sweet tooth like me, Puccini is a chocolate shop with a decadent choice of chocolate truffles stuffed with aromatic fillings. Before dinner, we headed over to Rosalia's Menagerie, a whimsically decorated bar inspired by Dutch heritage. I love the interior here and the little details along the walls and hidden around the bar. We had dinner at Bar Goo, a basement wine bar serving small plates where everything is made for sharing. This meal was an explosion of flavors in so many levels, from the fresh oysters to the toasty potatoes and smoked goat, which I almost mistook for beef. Last but not least, the best crepes of the trip with the most indulgent caramel sauce. The weather was perfect the next day, which meant a slow morning over a cup of coffee and some light breakfast. In this weather, I could honestly sit by this windowsill for hours. Walked over to the Rembrandt House Museum, the former home and workspace of the famous Dutch painter. Here I got the chance to have a closer look into what you would not regularly see in museums, but rather etchings and drawings throughout the years, different items from trade that Rembrandt collected in his private collection, and how paint for his paintings were made. It was as if I got a glimpse into his life that you'd see beyond his paintings. Right next door houses Rembrandt Corner, which is a great spot for quick coffee or lunch. We ordered the stampot, the ultimate comfort food that's difficult not to love. The flea markets are also such a good place to browse, especially for any potential vintage items or additions to my vinyl collection. I just loved how you could browse everything just right beside the canals. Next was another museum visit to Stedelijk, a museum known for its extensive collection of modern art, contemporary art, and design. As the day continued, we took a long walk over to Café de Pels for wine and bitterballen. I love the indoor and outdoor ambience of this cafe, and it's yet another place in Amsterdam I could most likely spend hours in. A few steps away from the cafe was the line to Fabel Friet. Although there was a long line, the wait was only a few minutes as the queue cleared up pretty quickly. The fries were so good, and the topping of grated parmesan with the truffle mayo was just so satisfying. Another spot worth visiting in spring is an aesthetic flower market floating on the Single Canal. The shops here overflow with colorful tulips and daffodils. I had dinner at our neighborhood bistro, serving natural wine and comfort food. It has such a vibrant menu and atmosphere, and is open for both walk-ins and reservations. An honorable mention to their smash burger that was crazily good. For my last morning in Amsterdam, what's better than a gelato and coffee for breakfast? I headed over to Massimo Gelato for the most decadent stracciatella and coffee gelato and latte to start the day. Next was a bakery stop to buy some sourdough as I headed back to London. This vibrant bakery sells freshly baked bread and pastries as well as natural wine. Be sure to try the galette while you're there. It's buttery, flaky, and probably my favorite out of all the things that I tried there. Another highly recommended spot is Menagerie Kef. Heaven for all you cheese lovers out there. I absolutely loved their cheese selection. They also gave me some great recommendations of classic Dutch cheeses to suit your preference. You can also have them stuff the cheese into a baguette for a quick meal. The truffle brie was so soft, rich, and creamy. Last but not least, my final stop before leaving was to Bar Vasari, located in the basement of a house beside a lush canal. This place is undeniably photogenic from all corners, in particular their backyard. A perfect encapsulation of the beauty of the spring season. My first trip to Amsterdam was such a memorable one. From the laid-back vibe during the day to its wilder, more vibrant and fun side. It's definitely a place I'd love to come back and visit again, as there's still so much left to see.